Hi everyone, today I'm going to make a tutorial to show you how to draw this light bulb that you can see here. So the image you can see is one I took off the internet, and I've scaled it so that it's the exact size that it should be, and then I've drawn this. So I'm going to make a tutorial to show you how to do, or what the steps was that I followed to get this exact light bulb. So first of all, you go into top view. Now if you don't have this navigation cube, you can always switch it on, or you can go to the view and you can select the steering wheels to control your environment a bit better. Or alternatively, you can go to the view. Just a second. Alternatively, you can go to view and just select which view you want to work from or work on. So to start with, we're going to draw a center line. Now the line is going to be the height of the bulb. Now, I'm not going to draw this piece on top, so I'm going to use that as the height of my bulb, and the bottom one. So that's the height of the bulb I'm going to draw. So the next step is to get I'm going to start with drawing the silver piece. So I'm going to use this as reference points. So to get all your reference points, or the heights of everything, you're just going to draw a line with your cursor on the picture as shown here. So I'm just going to draw all these lines out that I'm going to use to draw my light bulb. So the heights, as you can see, I didn't go far enough with this line, and just the last one. So to get the silver piece, I'm going to go onto the picture itself and start to get the width of everything that I need to draw. So I'm going to draw a line, and I'm going to move it over to the reference I first drew, and I'm going to use this as the width. And I'm going to get rid of that first line. So I know this width up here and the width here is going to be the same. So I'm going to copy that line down. I'm just going to switch off the snap to a point or an object so it doesn't snap to the line here. So the next width I need is going to be this one. So what I'm doing now is just getting all the widths that are needed to draw the silver piece. Delete those two reference points, and I know the width down here is going to be the same as the width up there. I'm going to copy that down as well to the reference I got earlier, and delete. And I'm going to start to draw out the outline of that silver piece. So jump to the wrong endpoint, that endpoint. So that little white piece that's at the bottom of the silver piece, I'm just going to draw like that, and then the silver piece at the bottom. So those are the basic outlines of what the bulb is going to, all that silver piece is going to look like. So I'm going to delete those. And as I can see, this is not going to be big enough, so I'm just going to stretch it over with S enter. Okay, so next what you want to do is you want to close whatever you're going to rotate or revolve around the point. So I'm going to select everything. I'm going to hit J, enter to join them. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to select that. I'm going to go to revolve, and I'm just going to revolve on this line and hit 360 and enter. So there you have the silver piece that is on the bulb. So I'm going to go back to the top view. I'm just going to put in these two spikes. So to do that, I'm going to get the length again. As you can see, and then I'm going to draw a circle because it's round studs. Just going to draw a circle on edge. It's the same size as one of those studs. And I'm going to move it over. I'm going to use the sweep function. I'm going to select that object to sweep, and that's the path. And now I'm just going to move it to the middle of that silver piece. And as you can see, there is two studs now connected to that silver piece. So to join those two, I'm just going to hit the join or the solid union function. Select both objects, and now it's one object. Usually in 3D drawings, you want to join as much of the objects as you can, because most of what you're going to draw is going to be more than one piece. And you don't want to lose a piece when you move it around. So next I'm going to use the spine command to draw the outline of the bulb head. So I'm going to disable the object snap, and I'm going to disable the polar tracking, as well as I'm going to keep the reference lines on because it's not going to work without the polar tracking being enabled. So I'm just going to click on or draw a spine to outline the bulb head. And you want to do this in 2 steps because you want to make one of them transparent, and the silver piece you want to keep as a silver piece. So I'm just following on the contour lines of the bulb, and you want to go over the center a bit just to make sure you cover everything, and we're gonna trim this line very shortly. Okay, so now I want to move this over to the reference piece that I've drawn already, and I'm going to use the center of the light bulb to move it over to the center of that line. But as you can see, it would have been better for me to wait and draw this silver piece after I've used it as a reference point on the 2D side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to extract the edges. I'm going to select that and say extract edges, so I can get a reference point of that center circle. Just move this up. So now I have a few circles as reference points, and I can move this over to a quadrant of the circle. I'm going to select that, and I'm going to move it over to the quadrant. And now I know my drawing is where it should be. Just delete all those lines. I'm going to go to top view again. So I'm going to leave this open so that it doesn't create a solid. I'm going to show you why just in a second. As you can see, the spine I've drawn, it comes down here, which is not correct. You want this to be a flowing line. So I've just fixed that. So next what you want to do is you want to move this back into place with the move function. And I've used this edge or this quadrant of the circle as a base point for the bulb head or the glass piece that we're going to draw. I just want to make sure this is back into place. And as you can see, it's exactly where it was when we extracted the edges. So next what you want to do is you want to revolve the glass piece of your bulb. You revolve it around this middle line that you can see here. Let's just make sure that for some reason it looks like I've missed the center with that line. So to remedy that, I'm going to move everything over to make sure I'm in the center of that line. So you can always draw a construction line or something to help you with navigating your 3D objects. So I'm going to trim this piece off and this piece as well. Now I can revolve and know everything is going to be center. So the next step is to select your spine that you've drawn, and you're going to use the revolve function again. And you're going to select this line to be what it revolves around. And as you can see, it's not creating a solid, it's just creating a surface. So I want to make it 360 again. I'm going to select this and make it transparent, let's say by 90%. So as you can see, this globe that this light bulb that I've downloaded has an orange glow to it. So I'm going to select that and I'm going to change the color to orange. Now, it's not going to display by default in here, so you're going to have to go to select color. It's going to bring up a table of colors and you just select the orange that you want. So as you can see now, it has an orange glow, but I'm just going to make it less transparent so you can see what it looks like. So I'm going to make it 80% transparent. So there you can see what it looks like. So to draw this middle piece or the internal workings of this bulb, I'm going to go to top again and I'm going to move over these two. I'm going to move it by a set amount, so I can move it back by that same amount when I'm finished. So I'm going to move it over 80. So now I know when I move it back, after I've drawn the center piece, I can just move it back 80%. So to start with, I'm going to draw the top of that middle piece. I'll just get references again. CO, enter. And that piece looks important. That's where it changes size. And I'm only going to use those three as reference points, so as to not go into too much detail as I did in the first example that I've drawn. And you can see there in the center, you can use a lot of reference points if you want. But for this example, just to save some time, I'm just going to draw a basic centerpiece. So I'm going to use that size, move it over, and and I'm going to use this size. And those are the only two references I'm going to use for this example. I just need to get the size of this middle piece, the thinner one. I can place it anywhere on this line. So at the top, I know that's the height. I'm going to start with just a basic of what I see is happening. The middle piece. And then the piece that's going to the bottom, just going to draw a line. So that middle piece is made of glass, and I know most glass won't be a straight line, so I'm just going to fillet this to make it look a bit more realistic. I'm just going to make the fillet, the radius a bit bigger. Let's say that. So the radius is too big of the fillet, so I'm just going to adjust the radius again. Now it's important to fillet these pieces because we're going to join the lines, and if the lines are not filleted together, it's going to create a surface instead of a solid. And for this middle piece, I think it would be best to get a solid. So let's just make sure all the lines are connecting. So these are minor details that you're not really going to see if you're going to use this light bulb in a drawing, but it's just for practice to show you a few techniques on drawing with AutoCAD, the 3D stuff. So there's a few commands that are quite important that I've already illustrated. So the revolve is the main function that I wanted to show you to draw this light bulb. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure this is closed. So I'm just going to hit J, enter to join the lines. Then I know I've missed one here at the bottom, so I can always just add it afterwards. Just J, enter. Now I know I'm going to create a solid when I revolve this. I'm going to select what I've drawn, make it 360. So as you can see, it's created that center part. So there's many ways to draw this to create a more realistic looking one. For this example, I just wanted to draw something quick. And now I'm going to change the color, so to make sure that it looks a bit more like glass instead of just the silver standard. I'm going to select a blue color, and I've shown you earlier in this video how to get custom colors. So I'm going to make this transparent by, let's say, 60%, because it's quite a thick piece of glass. Then I'm going to move this over 80 as well, so it's going to be in the center of that bulb. And the only thing that's left to draw is these wires and the filament. So that's quite quick. We're going to just use a basic line, goes up to there, goes down to here, and then it has a little bend. So that's the bottom wire, and then the top wire is just going to go out to where the filament is located. and then there's going to be sort of a wire in the middle of it going down to the other wire. I'm just going to get the length I need from here, and as you can see, it's not a straight line. So now I can select everything I've just drawn, move it over, so as you can see, the line is going to be just a tad away from that center line because we've already drawn the center piece to hold up these wires. So I'm just going to get a thickness of this wire just by drawing a circle on it, and then the thickness of the filament, it's a bit thicker, and just this other wire coming in is a bit smaller, as you can see. So now I can select those three sizes that I've just drawn, move it over to where I can see it, and the next thing I want to do is just copy this line, and I'm going to copy it over 10. It's important to know how far you've copied it. And next we're going to use the sweep function. Firstly, I want to copy another circle for the wire because there's two pieces of wire. So for the top one, it's straightforward. I can just select sweep, select the object I want to sweep, and select the path. The bottom one, I have to fill it first, otherwise it's not gonna be solid. So I'm gonna choose fillet with F enter, and I'm gonna change the radius to just a random, let's say it's 0.5, fillet that, fillet this side. And now I'm going to join the lines so that the path is one line instead of a few lines. With J enter. Now I can sweep that as well. So hit the sweep function, select the object, hit enter, select the path, and it swept that path. Okay, so this little black wire in the middle is this thickness over here, so I'm going to select that sweep function again, select the object, hit enter, select the path, and the last one I'm just going to make a bit smaller because that filament, as you can see, is a bit shorter than that exposed wire. I'm going to draw another line. Trim this down, TR enter, select that, delete. I'm gonna sweep again, select the object, select the path, and now we're gonna move this back. And remember, we moved it 10 millimeters. So now it's exactly where it was. And now I just want to make these edges look about the same as this picture. So I'm going to do that with the chamfer function. And I've already changed the distance. The first one, that's going to be the down distance. It's going to be 1 millimeter, and inwards it's going to be 0.5. Just accept that. And now the same for the bottom. I'm just going to repeat the chamfer, accept the chamfer. I'm going to change its color to orange as well as displayed in the picture. And I'm going to change the color of these wires so it stands out a bit more. Okay, so now what you want to do is you want to change or you want to array this so it shows 4 filaments as it's shown in the picture, or you can put in more if you want to. So first thing is you have to rotate this with the reference point. So I'm going to rotate with that reference point. I'm going to use the 3D to rotate. I'm going to choose that point as my rotating point, and I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. Now I'm going to select everything again, and I'm going to choose array, polar array. I'm going to select that point as my middle, so you can leave it at 6 or you can change it to 4, or you can even change it to 8 if you want, whatever you require. I'm going to leave it as 4, same as the picture. Now I'm going to select everything, and because it's an array, it's created one object. I'm going to select everything and rotate with that same point. I'm going to rotate it down 90 degrees, and now I can just select that, move it over with 80, as I previously moved everything with 80, and as you can see, now you have a very good looking bulb. So you can use this in your designs in a lamp, or you can just use it to make your presentations look better. So I hope this helped you, and I hope you learned something, just a few new commands, and thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.